Hello everyone, I'm Trisha, the host of this forum. Welcome to join today's online forum of UN Human Rights Day. The subject of this forum is Rights to Correct the Wrongs. Human Rights Day is observed every year on December 10th, the day on which the United Nations General Assembly adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR, in 1948. The theme of 2021 Human Rights Day is equality. In Article 1 of the UDHR, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Therefore, on this particular meaningful day, we are honored to have Dr. Hong, the Vice President of UN NGO Association of World Citizens, to join this forum. Let's welcome Dr. Hong.
Distinguished guests, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, good day. The UN General Assembly adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights on December 10, 1948, and 2 years later declared December 10th the Human Rights Day. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is based upon human liberty and equality, and the first document in history that details 30 fundamental human rights. It is also the most widely translated document, available in more than 500 languages. Human rights is a universal value that has been recognized as the foundation of freedom, justice, peace, and security, as well as of the sustainable development of human society. Inspired by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the United Nations adopted the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights in 1966. To further clarify and act upon the spirit of human rights, the two covenants and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights combined into the International Bill of Human Rights, the most important human rights bill in the world, and the very foundation of international human rights law. On this important day, we are once again reminded that every human being is endowed with fundamental human rights. No person or public power should infringe or deprive others of their basic human rights. These rights should be respected, protected, and jointly defended. American human rights activist Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. has once said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." Mr. Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, said human rights violations harm us all. Only when human rights are recognized and honored will peace be achieved. Respect for human rights is the common linkage between democratic nations. However, fundamental human rights are violated in many parts of the world. Human rights defenders, following the calling of conscience, are taking to the street and demanding that public authorities respect and protect citizens' civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights. The calling of human rights is heard. Everyone is urged to take immediate action for the future of their country. Human rights are at the core of 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainable development cannot be achieved without human dignity. We have to create equal opportunities in order to achieve sustainable goals. We are determined to take actions to protect human rights and remain united as we recover from the pandemic and go beyond into a brighter future. The United Nations is calling on world citizens to stand up for human rights and put human rights in the center of the post-pandemic world, urging social reforms to create an international community built upon freedom and fearlessness with more inclusiveness, resilience, and equality. The world is now full of uncertainties and challenges. Global problems such as war, environmental changes, extreme climate patterns, excessive exploitations of resources, and unequal distribution have provoked the COVID-19 pandemic and Mother Nature to fight back, causing unpredictable and devastating disasters for mankind. In the chaos, human rights are under immediate threat from special interests and corrupt government bureaucracy. The chaos stems from the same root. Michelle Bachelet, UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, said there is a vaccine to hunger, poverty, inequality, and possibly, if it is taken seriously, to climate change, as well as to many of other ills that face humanity. The name of that vaccine is human rights. We should properly apply the human rights vaccine to help us build more resilient, prosperous, and inclusive societies. Our common humanity is rooted in human rights, equality, justice, and freedom. These core values need to be reiterated, heard, put into practice. Then the human society will be able to avoid violence and achieve stability and peace. Under the doctrine of cause and effect, just like the rule of heaven and earth, wrongdoers will eventually bear the consequence. To find solutions, it is necessary to go back to the root cause of the problem and change the root cause. Heart is the root cause of our problems. Selfishness causes people to forget the respect between people. True human rights attainment requires basic respect among people. There will be no peace, equality, democracy, and fraternity with no human rights. Human rights comes from conscience. Conscience is the origin of all virtues. Compassion is the footing of morality. Human rights is based upon conscience and love. Humanity is connected with compassion. French philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau said a principle of justice and virtue exists in the depth of soul. This is conscience. In recognition that conscience is the key to change the world, the UN General Assembly declared April 5th the International Day of Conscience in 2019. In recognition that love and peace is the most important foundation for sustainable development and mankind's common well-beings. The Federation of World Peace and Love promoted the declaration of International Day of Conscience to urge people to seek win-win solutions with peace and harmony in order to solve national and international crises. All world citizens are encouraged to nurture love in their hearts, to strike a balance in the pursuit of economic, social, cultural, spiritual, technological, and educational development. Conscience is the most needed universal vaccine. On Human Rights Day, we look forward to working with states, organizations, and world citizens to protect, promote, and practice human rights as we meet challenges with creative and effective solutions. On the path to securing universal human rights, we need to have faith, merit, strength, and courage to overcome obstacles as we work hand in hand with like-minded, and to continue the work of securing a human rights-friendly environment. We need to focus on the collective well-being inherent to our conscience. Let's create sustainability and a united world with human rights, dignity, peace, equality, freedom, stability, and happiness. May we all have peace and health. May the world have prosperity and harmony.
Thank you, Dr. Hong. We thank you for your contribution of dedicating the hard work on aspects of love, peace, and human rights. With your profound speech, reminds us every world citizens should understand their human rights are given by nature. We need to stand up for our own rights and those of others. We can take action in our own daily lives to uphold the rights that protect us all and thereby promote the kinship of all human beings. Once again, thank you, Dr. Hong. Now, at today's Rights to Correct the Wrongs Forum, we are going to point out how many rights that we own in our hands that enable us to correct the wrongs. I bet you have seen many news reports or online forums about the injustice Taiwan case spreading on media press and has been discussed widely on internet. This case has won the court judgment, but still suffered the persecution for 25 years by the governmental tax agency. The human rights persecution and violation phenomenon in Taiwan is serious, which needed the urgent international helps. Therefore, in celebration of UN Human Rights Day, we welcome you to join this forum to hear the talks from today's speakers and to discuss the current facts of tax human rights persecution and violations in Taiwan. Let's welcome our first speaker, Olivia.
Hello everyone, I'm Olivia and a Taijimen 弟子. When I was 13 years old, my mother recommended me to join Taijimen Qigong Academy. In Taijimen, there are many teenagers who are the same age as me. They practice Qigong and spend their winter and summer vacations together. There are often teenagers training. Through training, I experienced the first time that my parents were not with me. I learned how to take care for myself so my parents wouldn't worry about me. I also learned how to integrate and collaborate with others. I spent a very happy and meaningful teenage time in Taijimen. Taijimen Qigong Academy was established in 1949, dedicated to promote the culture of love, peace, and conscience. Shifu and Dies of Taijimen have been invited to perform at the National Day ceremony many times. Over the years, the Goodwill Culture trips have visited 101 countries through the efforts of Shifu, Shimu, Shishong, Shijie. We try to promote the message of love and peace via songs, dancing, and the performance of martial art to everyone in the world. We showcase the best example of the national diplomacy. It is the well-known Qigong and martial arts self-cultivation group at home and abroad. Up to now, such an excellent group has been persecuted by the government for 25 years. While I was a college student, I wrote to President Tsai many times to tell her that the people needed help, and asked President Tsai to rectify this Taijimen case, which has been called by the experts and scholars for more than 20 years as the demon-revealing mirror of Taiwan's law and text. This case should be rehabilitated as soon as possible, and officials who violated the law needed to be punished so Taiwan can have a bright future. However, the government not only failed to solve the problem, but even intensified their power. It allowed the National Taxation Bureau and the Administrative Enforcement Agency to jointly auction off the land of Taijimen. The land was scheduled for a self-cultivation center. During the election, candidates will ask the people to vote for you. When candidates won the election and obtained the power, they just broke their promises like never happened. The cheating behaviors of the government is more terrible than the bandits, and the government even lacked the basic ethics. There is no righteousness. It is extremely hateful. The Taijimen case is a fake case from beginning. The Supreme Court had ruled Taijimen not guilty and not owing tax and no other charges, and the tax bill derived from the criminal case should be revoked. Former Finance Minister Yan Qingzhang, Deputy Minister Wang Deshan, and Wang Rongzhou all say the tax case will be revoked while the criminal case terminated. They all said this statement during the criminal court trial. But did this happen? The tax case did not solve. Solving the Taijimen case is very simple. As long as the government shows conscience and to do right things, it can be solved. Officials needed to take right decisions with your courage, and that Taiwanese and even other victims around the world who suffer from religions and beliefs freed from the persecution. On the World Human Rights Day, I would like to call on those governmental officials, please stop using tax as a tool to persecute spiritual movements. Government officials should stop pretending to be deaf and dumb. Stop pretending that they're invisible, and redress the Taijimen case quickly and return the fairness and justice to the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia, for being brave to write a letter to President of Taiwan of fixing the serious illegal tax bill persecution to people and correcting the past mistakes made by those government officials. Olivia mentioned, as long as the government shows conscience and to do right things, this unfair case can be solved. The governmental official should stop using tax as a tool to persecute spiritual movements. They should stop pretending deaf, stop pretending that they are invisible, and redress that Taijimen case as soon as possible. Next, let's welcome our second speaker, Sherry.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sherry. I am a Taiwanese and a volunteer to promote legal and tax justice as well as human rights. Taiwan is a good place for self-cultivation. I practice Qigong here to improve health and get balance among body, mind, and soul. However, the Taijimen force case lasted almost 25 years. On July 30, 2007, the Supreme Court has ruled the Taijimen is not guilty, not tax evasion, not violating taxation law. In the 2010 legislative yuan hearing, the National Taxation Bureau promised to withdraw the enforcement for the illegal tax bills of 1992. Thousands days passed. The National Taxation Bureau broke its promise and cheated everyone. It did not withdraw the enforcement nor revoke the illegal taxation sections, although the administrative enforcement agency officials clearly knew that the taxation sections are illegal. They did not stop the illegal enforcement and violated the principle of proportionality. They repeatedly overseized the assets of Taijimen and forcibly auctioned off the sacred land of Taijimen in Miaoli in 2020. Seriously violated the people's property right guaranteed by Constitution. The unfair and cruel action is disgusting and unreasonable. So I decided to stand up. In recent years, I marched on Kaidegelan Boulevard with my family and become a volunteer to promote legal and tax justice as well as human rights. When I was a primary school student, I learned the sense of propriety, justice, honesty, and honor. Honesty indicates directions, behavior, underneath a real consciousness. However, some government officials made bad examples. Prosecutor Hou Kuanren searched Taiwan academies on December 19, 1996, and found true passports balance of 610,000. The next day, that number suddenly turned into 3.1 billion in the media. Hou fabricated such ridiculous amount against Taiwan made me heartbreaking. I am engaged in accounting work, regardless of the accountant reasonable and payable. Every single cent must be clean, just like what Huang Kunguang, the retired auditor of the National Taxation Bureau, said. How could you say that someone has tax evasion before he declares? According to the law, the comprehensive income tax will only be generated after the end of the year, after the withholding declaration completed by the end of January. The investigations can be made for tax evasion after the end of March the following year. Moreover, without evidence of money flow, how could you say that someone has tax evasion? It's really incredible. Shifu said that all tax that should be paid must be paid at a time, and the tax that should not be paid are not paid at all. Taiwan has persisted in doing the right things for 25 years and promoting legal and tax reforms, not just to vindicate the Taiwan case. Shifu thinks many tax victims crying in the dark, crying for help in the corner of society. Shifu hoped to gather the power of justice to wake up the conscience of the administration and the judiciary, call back the justice of taxation, and return tax victim fairness and justice. That's my Shifu, caring for the people of the world, with the world in mind, and compassion for others. I am honored to be able to follow Shifu to promote love, peace, and conscious movement. I hope that with positive energy, people's conscience can be awakened and our society can be better. No one is an outsider because we are a community of life. Only when everyone concerns human rights in law and tax, there will be true fairness and justice, just like the COVID-19 pandemic. When it's good, it's not enough. Only when everyone in the whole world is good, then we are safe. May the conscience of everyone be awakened, and the whole is peaceful. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sherry. Indeed, no one is an outsider because we are a community of life. Taijimen has persisted in doing the right things for 25 years and promoting legal and tax reforms, not just to vindicate the case itself. This is also for many tax victims crying in the dark, crying for help in the corners of society, hoping the power of justice to awaken the conscience of the administration and the judiciary, call back the justice of taxation, and return tax victims fairness and justice. Only when everyone concerns human rights in law and tax, there will be true fairness and justice. Now let's welcome the song called What is the Truth About Taijimen Case? To have more understanding of the case.
What is the truth about the Taijimen case? Taiwan Supreme Court found Taijimen not guilty of tax evasion or any other charges. The National Tax Bureau and the Ministry of Finance reneged on their promise to revoke the tax bill. The National Tax Bureau illegally auctioned off the sacred land of Taijimen. The land was illegally taken into state ownership. Where is the royal government officials' conscience? Where are justice and human rights? What is the truth about the Taijimen case? Taiwan Supreme Court found Taijimen not guilty of tax evasion or any other charges. The National Tax Bureau and the Ministry of Finance reneged on their promise to revoke the tax bill. The National Tax Bureau illegally auctioned off the sacred land of Taijimen. The land was illegally taken into state ownership. Where is the royal government officials' conscience? Where are justice and human rights? The righteous people are united with conscience to defend justice, human rights, and peace. The righteous people are united with conscience to defend justice, human rights, and peace.
In Taiwan, we at Bitter Winter saw at work Taliban of the National Tax Bureau or Taliban of the Administrative Enforcement Agency, 55-year-long persecution of a peaceful spiritual movement in a democratic country such as Taiwan. The Taijimen case is internationally exemplary and important, and yet we plan to continue our campaign about it. Our voice will not be silenced until the voice of justice will speak and solve the case.
Thanks to the song which gives us the brief understanding of Taijimen fabricated case. This case contains great tax and human rights persecution and receives the great notice from international scholars and experts. Wishing the past wrongs can be fixed as soon as possible. Now, let's have our third speaker, Mark. Mark is a 19-year-old college student and also a Taijimen弟子. Let's hear from him.
Dear friends, good day. My name is Mark. I'm 19 years old. My father was a university professor. When I was 6 years old, he passed away in 3 months after he diagnosed with leukemia. My mother worried about my sister and my health, so took us to join the Taijimen Qigong Academy. With love and companionship of Shifu and many brothers and sisters, my childhood was very happy and peaceful. Shifu taught us to be good citizens with a conscience, and everyone is responsible for what they do. Therefore, I will abide by the law and show the quality that an educated person should have. Moreover, I believe that all people should abide by the law, regardless of age, but the responsibility of being human being. But there is a group of people who are unwilling to abide by the law, or even trample on the law, just for promotions and earn more money. Regardless of whether the people live or die, this group of people is Taiwan's few critical raw bureau officials, such as the former Minister of Finance Zhang Shenghe, who is known as the Minister of Practical Family. During his 10 years as Minister of Finance, he rushed to levy stock exchange taxes and caused foreigner investment to withdraw from Taiwan, which severely damaged the stock market. And Mega Bank New York branch was heavily punished by the United States for money laundering, which even severely damaged Taiwan's international image. Moreover, the evil deeds made by former Minister of Finance Zhang Shenghe included the injustice tax case of lawyer Huang Wenhuang, which been voted by more than 67,000 netizens as the most unlucky public interest lawyer in history. Lawyer Huang Wenhuang served as the estate administrator of the Taichung District Court. In accordance with the procedures, he also paid 3,000 NT dollars in advance. Because the client was out of production, the National Tax Bureau put the account on his head and asked him to pay the principal tax plus fine, a total of about 112 million. The Land Finance Minister Zhang Shenghe explained, "If we don't punish him, we are afraid he will collude with his heirs." Huang Wenhuang said that after the case occurred, he was too stressful to breathe for almost 6 months, and he can barely sleep every day. He woke up in the middle of the night and wanted to jump out of the window, but he gave up because he thought of his children. In Taijimen case, Zhang Shenghe violated many laws. For example, when he was the head of Taipei National Taxation Bureau, he altered the date of official documents and stole the people's property. He was caught by the judge in the court and then used the tax rebate to steal money from the national treasury to pay for the people. However, such a rough official can step down safely, and after retirement, he will serve as a chair professor at the School of Law and Business of Dongwu University, and continue to poison the students. Taijimen's unjust, wrong, and false case is called Taiwan's 228 incident of the tax realm by experts and scholars. It is the human rights disaster with the largest number of victims and the most intensively involved since the 228 incident. But so far, no perpetrators have come out to admit their mistakes, and the government has not punished them. The bitter blood and tears of the relevant illegal officials are even more unimaginable. Therefore, on the United Nations Human Rights Day, I would like to call on Taiwan's Ministry of Finance and the National Taxation Bureau to stop bullying the people of Taiwan. I also want to call on the government to implement true transition justice immediately, resolve the injustice Taijimen case, and return the sacred land of Taijimen. This is what the government should do to implement taxation human rights and protect the people's freedom of religion and belief. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. If Taiwan wants to be a real democratic country, those people who are unwilling to abide by the law or even trample on the law just for promotions and earn more money must be terminated. Taiwan should not tolerate few rogue bureau officials. Ministry of Finance and the National Taxation Bureau must stop bullying the people of Taiwan. Taiwanese government should implement transitional justice. Immediately resolve injustice Taijimen tax case and return to the sacred land to Taijimen. Next, let's welcome our last speaker, Howard. He is only 9 years old, and he would like to speak out his voice on Human Rights Day. Welcome, Howard.
Hello everyone, I'm Howard. I am a 4th grade elementary school student. It's my pleasure to join today's online forum of UN Human Rights Day. As one of the world's citizens, we all look different, believe in different things, want different things, and behave in a different way, but we're all humans, which means we all have the same rights. The following are current human rights that we meet at school. 1. The right to be heard. Everyone in the world wants to be heard and listened to. We have the right to express our own ideas in class. On the other hand, we have to listen and respect other classmates while they are expressing their opinions. In Taijimen case, we have been to Presidential Palace to express our opinions for 25 years. Why don't you hear our voice? President Tai. 2. The right to be educated. All kids are given equal educational opportunity, no matter what their race, ethnic background, religion, gender, or whether they are rich or poor. A 12-year compulsory education was implemented in Taiwan. For example, if I do not go to school for class, my parents will against the law. We need to stand up for our own rights. If someone against the law, they should accept the punishment no matter who he or she is. 3. The right to be treated fairly. We are not to be judged or being different and not to be compared with peers. Everyone can access learning resources and activities. If we make mistakes, and we will not to be judged or shamed. The most important point is that teachers will provide us opportunities to correct the mistakes. My question is that the Supreme Court already said that Taijimen is innocent. Why the tax bureau still doesn't want to revoke the tax bill? Why the National Tax Bureau officials not follow and obey the law? This is really strange. I want to say it's pretty easy to correct the mistake. President of Taiwan Tsai Ing-wen should hurry up and correct those wrongs. Thank you for your listening.
Well done, Howard. It is very nice of you being brave to speak your voice out. Even children understand that if a person does something wrong, he or she should bravely correct the mistakes as soon as possible. Adults should set a good example. The illegal seized land of Taiwan must return back to us. The government should hear the voice of the people, implement taxation human rights, and protect the people's freedom of religion and belief. On the UN Human Rights Day, the age and the size do not matter. The most important thing is that everyone has their human rights needed to be respected. The justice of human rights shouldn't be destroyed by any person. At the end of today's forum, let's listen to the song Human Rights of World Citizens, helping Taiwan government to awake their conscience, to remind them using the rights to correct the wrongs, and return justice back to Taiwan immediately. Thank you.